My name is Toloa. I am a funeral director here at McCartney Family Funerals, and I'm at the Beenleigh branch. I am a mother of two, and I got married last year. So that is me, and I'm a praise and worship leader at church. A praise and worship leader, my job is to usher in the presence of God. So it's not just about music, it's about a relationship. So that relationship is just like any other relationship between mother and child, relationships that you have with your loved ones, but this relationship is between you and God. So in order to discover that relationship you have to go, like any relationship, very intimate. I know a lot of people think it's physical, but it's spiritual. So the spiritual side, along with having a relationship, along with the music, they combine, and that is me. So at the start of the pandemic, I lost my grandmother. And when I lost my grandmother, we reached out to McCartney Family Funerals to help plan the funeral, just to make everything okay. So when we lost my grandmother, it was hard because she was everything to us. So yeah, that's how I met McCartney Family Funerals. I met Brian and Imogen. So they were our funeral directors for the day, and from start to finish, they were amazing. So Brian and Imogen approached me in a position that was available, and at that time, they had no idea, but I'd given up nursing because my grandmother passed away. I felt like I had no purpose. I pretty much, honestly, in the right words, I felt useless. I felt like I failed her. So if I couldn't save my grandmother, because she died in my hands. So when she passed, I felt useless. So I gave that up, and I had no job because I couldn't concentrate. I felt useless. Like, I don't know if that was the right term for what I was feeling that time, but that's the only word that comes to mind, was useless. So I gave up everything. I stopped everything. And then Imogen reached out to me via Facebook. But get this, I just created Facebook the week before because I was so out of it, socials, everything, I was off it. So I just created Facebook, and Imogen messages me on Messenger. And I was like, oh, okay. And she asked if I could meet with Brian McCartney. And I was like, yeah, of course, I would love to. And then, so she messaged me and I replied. And then she called me over the phone, asked for my phone number, and so she called me. So when she called me, I cried. Like, I couldn't believe that they were reaching out to me, because at that moment when she was talking to me, I don't know if she knows this, but I felt my heart, like I could physically see it. Oh, not physically, like I could literally see it in my mind, my heart, like, I don't know, like mending, like as if like my purpose was coming back, because I felt like I had so much love, so much passion to give, but I didn't know which avenue to give that to, or but when she spoke to me over the phone, I felt like my heart was mending, and I couldn't help but cry like a baby. Like, so as soon as she hung up on me, I cried like a baby, and my sister was driving. Thank God I wasn't driving. And I was like, I feel so alive again. Like, you guys breathe life into me. I think that's the exact word I used to my sister. And then I met with Brian. He offered me this wonderful position as a funeral director. And yeah, here I am, doing what I love to do, doing what I believe I was meant to do. We always say God is not a man that he shall lie, and he never fails you. So that made my faith in Christ more solid. Like, I was always a believer. I'm a strong follower of Jesus. I try to do the right thing. I'm not perfect, but I always try to do the right thing, say the right things. And if it's never a good thought, I try to cast it away ASAP. So when everything came about, I felt like, even though it was such a hard time when my grandmother passed, I felt like there's a reason for everything. And I don't know why my grandma passed, and the time that she did, but I praise God that something else came out of it, which gave me purpose, which breathed new life into me. When Brian first hired me, he always said, or even now, he always said, I've got such a big heart. You always see Jane's heart before, you talk to her. And that was, I think, the biggest challenge was taking the family's grief. Me being a woman, not even saying that, but as a mother, and it's very hard to not take that emotion on. And I know Brian has advised everyone that, the grief is not yours. You grieve with them, but you leave it there. Okay, what it means to me is everything. So when I spoke about my grandmother and how I felt useless, felt like I had no purpose, I believe wholeheartedly that this is what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm in the right place with the right people, with the right family that love and support me and that share my values. I've never felt more at home or more love than I have besides my own family. It's so important to me. I look forward to coming to work. I know a workplace is meant to feel like work, but it does feel like work because everything you're doing is important because you want to make sure that all the families have the service that they envisioned for their loved one. So I feel like I'm supposed to be here and I was meant for this role. It was created for me.